Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, August 7th, 2016, and this is your Fun Fact of the Day. Your Fun Fact of the Day is just a short introduction to the biblical book of Romans. If you want a very simple but also incredibly deep introduction into Christianity as a whole, Romans would be a good place to go. However, be sure to bring a dictionary, a lot of time, and a lot of patience. Originally written by the Apostle Paul, was intended for the people at Rome, hence the name. A lot of translations still include the actual description in the title, the letter of Paul to the Romans. Usually that's how we name most of our letters in the New Testament, is just who the intended recipient was. It was a mixed crowd in Rome, Rome being not quite at the height of its empire at this time. This was only between 0 and 100 AD, so they hadn't quite reached their full expands across the globe, but they did still have quite a cultural melting pot in the city itself. Pretty sure actually Paul sent it to the city and not just the empire. That'd be a well-traveled letter. The primary theme is the gospel, basic salvation by God for all of humankind. A broader statement of the theme, or the overall message of the book, would be righteousness from God, as evidenced in chapter 1, verse 17. It includes things like justification by faith, but it also embraces other ideas like guilt, sanctification, and security. His purposes, Paul's purposes, for writing the letter were significantly varied. In the letter, he actually states that he's writing this to prepare Rome for his arrival and by his passing through on his way to Spain. He wrote to present a very basic teaching of salvation to a church, the church in Rome, that had not received an apostolic message before. And he sought to explain the relationship between Jews and Gentiles in God's overall plan of redemption. A very, very worthwhile cause. It's actually very necessary. If you look up in the Bible, you see a few scuffles between Paul and Peter concerning this concept about how Jews thought they were still better than Gentiles, even if they're both converted to faith in Christ. Led to a lot of problems. Basically racist problems, actually. Jewish Christians were being rejected by the larger Gentile group in the church as well, since sometimes the Jews were significantly outnumbered and the Gentiles were like, great job, you had all this law and what good did it do you? We believe in Christ and we're better off for it now. Whereas you kind of still hold to the law while trying to believe in Christ, and you're definitely worse off for it. In truth, the Jews did believe they still had to hold to some sacred laws and holy days, particularly from Exodus and Leviticus when God spells out the law for his people to live by, but this was entirely incorrect. They did not need to do that. The entire book of Romans gets into this in very, very great depths. An astounding thing. Countless volumes have been written as far as commentary, thoughts and observations, and other interpretations about the book and what we can learn from it. Even though it's only 16 chapters long, you could probably read it forever and always learn something new every time you go through it. Additional side fact concerning all the sin that we do, all the wrongs in the world, and everything that's the cause for it, or to blame for it, the devil is not actually mentioned until chapter 16. Much of this just falls on humanity's shoulders. It's our fault. Don't believe me? Go read it for yourself. But like I said, a lot of time, a lot of patience, a dictionary wouldn't hurt as well. And some commentaries. Feel free to look up what a lot of different accredited people have said here and there to make sure you're actually learning in the right direction, not misconstruing anything. Learn from those more educated than yourself, while also still learning for yourself. Hope you've enjoyed this fun fact of the day. See you tomorrow.